We're on the road with the John Mendola Show here at Wilkes University with head football coach Jon Drach. And John, let's catch up. We're into July.
Yep.
Let's talk a little bit about where you're at in the process here. We're a month away from getting into camp. So how are things going?
Good. We report on August 10th. So excited to get the kids back. We've been talking to the kids actually the last couple of weeks now, just seeing how their summer strength and conditioning has been going. And it's been hot the last few days, so checking in on them to make sure they're working on that conditioning test. So besides that, everything's been going great. We've been kind of spread out as a staff, doing a lot of camps and whatnot, trying to recruit a lot of 2019, 2020 kids. So we're looking at that next class already, and this year's class is pretty firmed up at this point.
Let's talk about the process and getting guys in, talking to them, meeting them, getting your staff together.
Absolutely.
The whole last couple months have been kind of busy.
Yeah, absolutely. That stuff came together pretty quickly. So when I took the opportunity to come down here to Wilkes, I had some people in mind, and I was pretty fortunate that those people were ready to jump as soon as I called. We've got a great young staff, a lot of guys that played with me, a lot of guys that played for me over the last 11 years. So I think most of our staff is going to have some type of Hobart tie, one way or the other. And then we retained some great guys that were here and doing a great job, and had great relationships with our kids, and had been working really, really hard in that recruiting class. And I thought they did a spectacular job to hold some of the things together that needed to be done in that lapse of leadership, and that lapse of time when there wasn't somebody in place in the seat. And those guys definitely earned their positions and have been doing a great job for us since they stayed on.
Let's talk about the numbers, where you're at senior-wise, junior, sophomore, and then the freshmen you have coming in.
We're going to be pretty young. I would anticipate that probably about over 2/3 of our football team is going to be freshmen, sophomores. Retention-wise, that has been one of the issues that I think they've kind of dealt with here over the last 4 or 5 years. And I think this year we'll have right around 7 or 8 seniors. And all those guys are going to be contributing factors for us. And there's going to be some great leadership in that group. And we get Jeff Stever coming back, and Luke Wood, and a lot of those guys have done some really good things, including Tony Marsikevich. And some of those guys are going to be our leaders and our captains as well. At the same time, we need a lot of those young guys to step up and be factors for us. I think that it is a growing process, and the springtime was a great opportunity for us to learn and grow as a team of what my expectations were of everybody, of how we're going to play offensively and defensively, scheme-wise. And now that we get into the fall, now you're putting pads on, now you're actually doing it. It's not so much anymore that talk about it. Now it's time to kind of be about it when we come back. And we're going to have a great group of freshmen that are looking to come in and compete. That group's going to be about 52 kids, 53 kids. So it's going to be a good group, a sizable group that's going to be acclimated to the new culture of the team very, very quickly. I think that was one of the main things that changed for us in the springtime. Is we changed some attitudes, we changed our thought process, and we changed how we're going to practice and how we're going to do things on a day-to-day basis. And we're hoping that comes out with some results throughout the course of the year.
How challenging is it for a freshman to come in and make an impact?
Extremely challenging. Extremely challenging. I think that there's a learning curve at every level. The speed of the game is so drastically different. Whether you're going Division I, Division II, or Division III, there's a change of speed. I mean, every one of these kids that is playing on the football field, especially when you go up against some of the top teams in our league, and Del Valle, Albright, Stevenson, Widener, those guys, I mean, you're playing against BCS level talent, honestly, you know what I mean? And to acclimate yourself to that speed and to learn a brand new system in a matter of about 4 weeks is very difficult. That's why you have to have that glue and that leadership from some of those upperclassmen and guys that will take that role and help teach and also compete. I think that's what we're looking for more than anything else in the course of camp. Is we want guys to come out and compete, and to be able to compete, we have to keep it pretty simple. I think offensively and defensively, and then just rely on the fact that our kids are going to work extremely hard, and we'll be able to outwork some people throughout the course of the fall.
How much focus do you put into your staff? Obviously, you got your staff together, and throughout the summer, where it's kind of going over the agenda. Okay, these are the things that we have to do. I'm sure there's a percentage of this percentage goes towards the staff.
Yeah, we're recruiting, we're working on our staff development, we're doing a lot of things, you know what I mean? I think that this time as a coaching staff, one, especially for a very young coaching staff, is how we kind of come together and how the guys kind of get a footing of where we're going. I think I am very, very fortunate to have a group of young coaches that are hungry and that are very, very process driven and work their butts off to put us in position to be successful. We're very, very much farther along, I think, than we have been in the past. And as far as installation goes, playbooks, I mean, there's little things that you don't even really think about that need to get done before August 10th. that the staff has been very, very diligent on, and we've been kind of developing a lot of those things throughout the course of the summer. Still got a long way to go, and still have a lot of conversations to have, but I think that we're working towards that.
Self-evaluation, looking at the players that you had last year, whether it's looking at film or going through some of the stuff you guys are able to do in the spring.
Yeah.
Talk about some of the percentages there, what your energy you're putting into that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that for us, evaluating what we're going to be really good at was what we got out of the springtime. You know what I mean? I think that seeing the types of kids that we're bringing in and how that meshes with the guys we have on our team to really focus on what we're going to be good at, so you're not over teaching and you're not over complicating, for a better word, what you're doing. And I think that helps us mesh, and that's going to help our performance on the field. I think that we have a great young group of kids coming in, but then we also have a lot of great upperclassmen. And like I said, we want to really focus on that competition piece where everybody doesn't have a spot right now. And that's a really, really uncomfortable feeling. And I want our kids to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You know what I mean? I want them to compete every day. That's how we're going to get that 1% better. That's how we're going to continually be changing what we are as we move forward, is that level of competition. And if we can fester that and really develop that throughout the course of camp and throughout the course of the season, because that just does not stop in camp. So once camp is over here, that doesn't mean there's going to be some changes in the roster. It doesn't mean there's going to be some changes in the 2-deep day to day. You know, we want kids that are going to come out and compete every day. And I think we have some guys that are hungry that were on the sidelines last year that want to have an opportunity to compete and play, and have showed that in the springtime right now. And there's some older guys that are going to say, "Oh, I'm the old bear here. I'm going to earn my spot." And that's one of the nice parts about having a brand new coach and a brand new coaching staff, is that first impressions are all about. So everybody comes in August 10th, and by August 15th, I think we'll be in full pack. And then it's going to really show who's going to impress and who's not going to impress. And I think this time, like I said, has been spent a lot on just allocating what we're trying to be and what we're going to be very, very good at as we move forward.
Scouting and looking at the teams that you play in your conference. I'm sure you did an initial breakdown in the month of July. You still look at stuff, or will it be out throughout the season of kind of looking at that?
We'll kind of focus at our first 3 or 4 opponents right now, and have them extensively broken and start working on the game plans for those right now. And then as we move forward, we'll go from there. And I think a lot of things, being a new staff, they don't know us either. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of question marks for them as well, of what they're going to see and what they're going to do. And there's a lot of question marks for us of how they're going to play us, and what they're trying to stop, and how they're going to attack us with their offenses and whatnot. So I think there's a lot of questions out there. So you really can't go too far in advance with that. But we definitely have a pretty good idea, I think, of those first 3 opponents right now, of what we're looking at and how they're going to attack us and what we're going to do against them. I have some familiarity with, obviously, Hartwick from playing them last year at Hobart. And then as we move into Lev Val and Del Val and those types of places, they're going to have some unfamiliarity with us. And they're going to kind of have to adjust, I think, to what we're going to do more than anything else.
Your adjustment, you talk about when you become a candidate for the Wilkes job and you get here, and now you've been here, you got a couple months under your belt. Talk about what it's like to be a colonel.
It's been great. I think the support of the university and the support of all the administration is the one thing that comes through the most. We've had so many changes. And we've done a lot in the 4 months that we've been here, from adding and putting our kids in the safest equipment we can possibly put in. And that was a grant and a gift from the president of the university, to say we're going to protect our kids. And we're going to be basically one of the only MAC schools that's going to put our kids in top of line equipment across the board, have the insight system in their helmets. We'll be monitoring any concussion activity that goes on with our kids daily. You know what I mean? So there is been a huge investment in what we're doing, from the full-time staff to the administration to the faculty, and I think that's one of the things that's been the most on-putting to me, is the fact that everybody's wanted to get involved. I mean, I've met with our band director. I mean, there's so many people that are excited about what we're doing and how we're moving forward, and our kids are excited on what we're doing and how we're moving forward. I think those things, that general energy, hopefully percolates into our performance in the field and the attitude that we come in with. I think that we have done a really, really good job, and our staff and our kids are excited about the process of becoming a football team together. They know that we have a long way to go. They know that it's going to be an incremental day-to-day step situation, but they also know that there is a chance for us to be successful. There's a chance for us to change some of the things that have gone on here over the last 4 years, and that's something to be excited about.
Typical day, a typical week during the season for a player.
Yeah.
6 days a week, they have to have a day off. And then how about the coaches, hours-wise, kind of hours that you guys put in?
Our kids on a weekly basis. Mondays they're off days, so it's also a big lab day on campus and whatnot, and I would rather give them off on Monday because hopefully that eliminates some of their academic requirements and they can go meet with professors in their office hours. When you give them Sunday off, that's tough to do. Not too many professors want to come in on a Sunday and do office hours and that kind of thing, so that's what we'll go with, is Monday as our off day. And it gives our staff plenty of time to game plan and to break film and to reevaluate where we're at on a week-to-week basis. And then we'll come in on Tuesday and we'll have lift and run sessions for Tuesday. We have an activity period here that goes from 11 to 1 p.m., which is great, so we can get a lot of those things done on Tuesday and Thursday. And then we'll practice in the afternoons, and we'll have some study halls and stuff throughout the course of the week, and that'll kind of be the schedule as we move through the week to them. Saturdays are game days, and Sundays we'll come in and do some rehab and get a lift in, and that'll be our basically 3 lifts a week, and then Monday the off day. Our staff will work 7 days a week for the next, after when we get here in August, this is a 7-day a week job for the next 5 months. Whether you are on the road recruiting after the season's over, or whether we are in season breaking film, game planning, do what we need to do, it's a 7-day a week thing. I am not huge on being in the office until midnight. That's me. I have 2 kids. I have a 1 and a 3-year-old, and I'm going to go have dinner with them. I'm going to give them baths, and I'm going to be a part of their lives. So I want our staff to do the same. Having that family atmosphere needs to percolate not only through our players but through our staff, and in order to do that, you can't have guys sleep in the building until 2 a.m. You know, we love to have the families around. We love to do things together. We love to surround our kids with our families, because I think for us, that is what creates this family atmosphere. We're doing a huge family barbecue for all of our parents and whatnot during camp, and there's going to be a lot of things that we're going to do to really build that dynamic throughout the program and understand that we want them to be able to be a part of what we're doing. I think there's a lot of people in this industry especially that try to push parents away and say, okay, well, I don't want the parents to be involved, I don't want them talking to me and that kind of thing. I want them to be as involved as they possibly can be. The stronger knit that our team feels on the field and off the field, the better performance we're going to have, bottom line. And if we can infuse that with our families personally as coaching staff, the players' families, it makes for a pretty dynamic environment overall.
Jon, great to catch up with you here as you get ready for a great July, and obviously you're looking forward to August 10th. So appreciate your time.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Anytime.